Mushy, and you're you. Hello, you. And we're here at Dark and Creepy Diamond Painting with a WiPnChit. I thought I would do a WiPnChit while I'm working on my off challenge canvas here. I'm working on Rokari's baby Michael. I might have, you want me to look? I'll look. I do have, please stand by while I totally professionally not have everything ready. There we go. Looky there, baby Mikey. That's what we're working on. And right now we're down here at the bottom of his little jack-o'-lantern. We have kind of all this bottom panel completed, but here's what he should look like when he's done. Isn't he so cute? Give him a kiss. All right. Yeah, so that's what I'm working on right now. It is a square diamond painting. Again, that's Rokari is the company. And if you go check out Rokari and find a canvas that you like over there, don't forget to use code MushyRocks for 15% off your canvas order. Yes. Save you some dollar bills, y'all. Jeez. Okay, well, let me pick a symbol. Oh, what sticks out to me? I don't know. The only one left here. This, like, arrow with a line through it. That was a hard choice. Super hard to pick a symbol. Yay. Well, how is everybody doing? Doing well, I hope. I thought, I don't know. I usually do this in a community post, but I figured why not make it a WiPnChit. If I'm being honest, I'll be transparent. I'm going through some muck in my personal life, and diamond painting is helping me keep some semblance of whatever sanity I may have possessed. Some might argue that I never had any to start with, and you're entitled to your opinion. You could be right. Who am I to say? But no, I am diamond painting my is keeping my panic out at bay. So I thought, might as well throw on the camera and say hi to you, and maybe we can, it helps me when I'm going through some stuff in life, things that I can't control. It helps me to kind of plan, organize, and I don't know, get a handle on things that I can control. And what I can control is goals and aspirations and directions of my channel and things like that. So why don't we talk about like the state of the mushy address, state of the dark and creepy address. So I guess I'll start with the elephant in the room, I suppose, to some of you, maybe not to all of you, but to some of you. And because some of you have pointed at the elephant and shouted, "Look, an elephant," I figure I might as well just address it and get it out there. But we're going to gloss over it because it's not primary focus of what I want my channel to be about or anything like that. And let's face it, you don't need to know all the details. No, you don't. If anything becomes relevant to, you know, where I feel like, I don't know, everyone in the general population world, whatever, needs to know the deets, I'll share them. But until then, we don't need all the deets. Trust me. But yes, in a nutshell, Mushy struggles with health, as many of us do. I do have some relatively serious health issues, and recently some concerning things have come up, and they are being tested and addressed. But yes, my videos have been a little sporadic. They have been kind of last minute or late in some cases recently, and that is why, my friends, I have been traveling to St. Louis up there for some specialists my oncology and my liver specialist are there, as well as MS doctors for myself and Sundown. And I have a newly developed but related medical issue that has reared its ugly head in the past couple months and progressively gotten to the point where Mushy can't avoid getting specialty care at this point. And so now I am also having to deal with that. So there's been lots of doctor's appointments and traveling recently, which has impacted my ability to be home and be filming, my ability to actually get diamond paintings worked on and done in a timely fashion. And I'm sorry for those of you who've noticed that. And I've done my best and will continue to do my best to make it as seamless as possible, because my personal concerns and health and stuff like that are not yours, you know, so I really don't want it to affect the channel as much as possible. Unfortunately, while I'm adapting to some things and some stuff, and adding some more doctors to the roster and appointments and tests and whatnot, there will be times like this where, you know, it can't be helped. I ran through my banked. Okay, thanks, Charlotte. Thank you for your input. Sorry about that, guys. I've run through what I refer to as my banked videos, meaning videos that have been recorded and kind of held back for an emergency, like, ooh, I'm due to have a video out, but I was unable to film one because I was XYZ ABC. Let me just pull this one out of the hat and make it public. One from, like, you know, 100 years ago or 5 minutes ago or whatever, but let me I'm out of those. Okay, I have no more videos banked. It's been rough. It's been rough like that, y'all. So there's that. And more recently, as some of you in the Facebook group may have been aware, because I've been being a big sissy ninny crybaby boo boo mama about it, my daughter, as of right now, actually, my daughter is in the emergency room. Mushy, what are you doing? A+ mommying for being home, diamond painting, filming a WiPnChit when your daughter's in the emergency room. Before you jump to those conclusions, hold your horses, please. Let me explain, okay? Yes, my daughter is currently in the emergency room. She is not alone. Her father, Sundown, is with her. And she did express to me that she felt comfortable and safe and comfortable and at peace with the fact that he is there and I am not. I was the one who dropped her off. Yeah, judgment free. Hear me out first. Hear me out first. I am the one who dropped her off at the emergency room. Now, did I just drop my, and you know, you hear my daughter and, you know, stuff like that, and probably, you know, some of you might just automatically drift to child. She is my child, but she is an adult, first of all. And second of all, I have an anxiety situation, prone to panic attacks, okay? And my biggest trigger is medical facilities, specifically hospitals. So, while have had, you know, if we're talking, you know, if we were talking ambulance emergency, like, you know, that sort of thing, she could not walk herself into the emergency room. We're in an ambulance. Of course, I would have gone in and stayed with her. Okay. But it was determined and agreed that by her and I that I would probably be more harm than good, because when I stress out and panic, she gets a little panicky, and she needed to not be panicky. You feel me? Let me break down what happened before we get all judgy on me for leaving my daughter at the urgent care. She has psoriatic arthritis. She was on Humira for a while, and I don't know, call it bad doctoring, call it slip through the cracks, oversight, I don't know. But for those of you who don't know, Humira can cause, like, be a trigger to cause or to develop MS, multiple sclerosis. Now, at last scan, her brain was A+, perfect, fine, all good in the hood. But Sundown has progressive MS. I forget the technical name of it, but we just call it the progressive one. Okay. And I as well have MS. So her new rheumatologist, upon learning these facts, said, whoa, whoa, hold your horses, hold up and wait. You're telling me both of your parents have MS? She said, yes. And the doctor said, studies have shown that Humira can trigger the development of MS. And with both of your biological parents having MS, you are highly predisposed to developing it naturally, let alone being on Humira, helping it along, helping it come to fruition. So we need to get you off of that like ASAP. So they took her off Humira and tried Cosentyx. Cosentyx was not working. So they said there's one more that we can try, and it's called Taltz. 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 And that was a new injectable. It gets injected into the belly. A new injectable medication to help her fight her psoriatic arthritis. It's the last resort that they had. Look, we finished a section, by the way. I do need to push some of these down, pop them into place. I feel some of them being a little ornery, being a little stuck up, if you know what I'm saying. So yes, she went to rheumatology, and in the rheumatologist's office that day, they went ahead and jabby, poked her. Not once, twice. They gave her a double dose to start. So they don't just give you a single dose, they give you a doubler to start. And so they had her sit in the office for a little bit to make sure that everything, was okay. No immediate allergic reaction or anything. And no, nothing. Nothing, honey. She was fine. So they sent her home and said, okay, well, this is a monthly injection. This will be in your system about a month. And then, you'll need another one in another month. Sent her home, and she got her shots, put them in the fridge because she can administer them herself, and she's supposed to do so in a month. That was about 2.5 weeks ago. Well, Sunday, she started feeling odd, little sluggish, if you will, and then started getting a little itchy. And then upon investigation, it was so weird, where on her, so this is her abdomen. I know what it's going to look like I'm going to do with my hands, and it's not that. It's, imagine an abdomen, not a chest, okay? An abdomen. So here's her abdomen. They shot her once right here, and they shot her once right here on this side of the abdomen. So kind of like she was calling these large spots that I'm going to tell you about, she was calling them her abdomen boobies. Okay. Because it looked like, anyway, she had developed these almost perfect circular, I mean, it had rough edges, but it was like a almost a perfect circle at both injection sites. Big red inflamed area with hives all inside of it. Itchy, little raised itchy welts, right? So she woke up and she's like, I'm itchy and I need some steel wool or I'm going to rip my skin off. And I was like, whoa there, child. Okay. She showed me and it was like, boom, like really inflamed. It almost looked, if anyone's seen ringworm or something, it almost kind of looked like that. It was a big, almost perfectly circular on both sides, rigid edges. It had a ring, like a darker red ring around the edge of the inflamed area, and all inside was these, inside the inflamed area with these hives, and it was just localized to the injection site. And I was like, oof. And then she's like, I'm not feeling, I feel lightheaded. I don't feel right. Like I'm extra tired. Something, I'm not okay. And I'm like, all right, well, it's Sunday night. Let's try urgent care first. If it's really serious, they'll send us to the emergency room. So, and it's urgent care is the closest, you know. So we went to the closest urgent care, which was 25 minutes away. And by the time she got there, she was cold, hot, cold sweats, like clammy. She had a fever. She was having chest kind of tightness and shortness of breath. She was not doing so hot. And I was like, oh no. So sundown took her. They got to the urgent care. They said she's having an allergic reaction. We're going to shoot her in the hiney with a cocktail that we give for mild to mid allergic reactions, and you know, anaphylaxis combatant type of shot, and she should be good. It'll have steroids and anti-inflammatories, antihistamines, and pain meds, like the whole nine, all in this one little neat cocktail that we're gonna stab her in the booty cheek with. And they did that. And they had her sit around for a little bit and make sure she was okay. And the itching simmered down and the inflammation started going down. They did say that she had an inflamed throat, ears, nose, like everything was like inflamed and swelling. So like it was getting to a dangerous-esque point when she got there, but they got her the shot and it started acting, you know, working, whatever, immediately. And she was feeling better already. And then she was just like, I just want to go home and sleep. I don't itch. Now I can sleep, whatever. I have to work tomorrow. I'm like, okay. So sent her on her way, told her to follow up with her that word is so hard for me. Rheumatologist. Sorry. That was just difficult. And so, all right. She came home. She went to bed. And Sundown and I both, we were a little uneasy. And that night we debated sleeping out in the living room on the couch. Because she sleeps in one half of the house. And her rooms are on one half of the house. And our rooms are on... Okay, listen. Stop sticking to my AB drill like a punk and just let it go. Let it go. Let it stick there and go. There you are. But yeah, her half of the house is on one side, separated from our half of the house by a kitchen and a living room, open concept situation. And we kind of discussed, you know, sleeping on the couch in the living room so that we were closer to her half of the room, or her half of the house, in case she needed anything, in case we just felt uneasy. Both of us had this feeling like, we need to be at hand, but kind of just tossed it up to being extra worried parents, and then talked ourselves, you know, she's an adult, she'll be fine. We have phones. the house isn't all that big. She can yell for us and whatnot. And begrudgingly went to bed in our room that night, even though both of us were kind of like, And then, so that was Sunday. So Monday she wakes up and has to go to work early. And she's like, I was up with her. Sundown was still sleeping. And she's like, I don't feel good. I'm sluggish. I'm itching again. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, the hives are back and I think they're worse than usual or than last time. And so she showed me and I was like, holy smokes. Like, it is spread. It's still in its circle shape. Still, around the injection site, but expanding. And I was like, I don't like it. And so she's like, well, I have to work. Nobody can cover me. I'm a manager, all the excuses of responsibility. And I respect and appreciate that of her. But she was choosing work over health. And she's like, if I still don't feel good, let me go to work and at least try. If I still don't feel good after work, I'll go back to urgent care. And we were like, we think you should go to the emergency room or urgent care, but you're grown, you've got to make your own choice, And she's like, I did. That's my choice. I'm going to work. Okay. So she ends up going to work, and she isn't at work very long before it all started again. She's like, I took a black marker and I drew around the perimeter of my rash just so I could monitor how much, how fast, how far is it growing, if at all. And it's growing. It's getting bigger and bigger as the minutes go by. I am having a panic attack type feeling. I'm feeling the racing pounding heart, the shortness of breath, the spiraling, rapid thoughts. I'm hot, cold at the same time. I'm sweaty and clammy. It's happening again, and it feels worse this time. I'm like, oh no, oh no. So Sundown and I had to pull the parent card, and I'm like, we called her, said, look, this is your one phone call that you're gonna get before we appear at your work. We understand that you're a manager. We understand the ramifications and severity of what we're about to tell you. But your health is more important. So what you're gonna do, there is no debate. What you're going to do, you're gonna take those jingly little manager keys in your pocket. Yeah, those ones, the ones that like open and shut the store. Yeah, you're gonna take those jingly keys and you're going to put them in the door of the store. You're gonna lock it. You're going to lock it. Then you're gonna get in your car and you're gonna go to urgent care or the emergency room. Your choice. Get somewhere. We told her, send everybody home, and with some apologies. Sorry, folks, but time to go. And if they fire you, they fire you. We don't care. If they write you up, if somebody gets mad at you, literally nobody cares. You are more important, and your health is more important than an $11.75, manager position an hour. Okay. So that's what's happening. And if you don't do it yourself, we're going to come up there and make you do it. So she agreed. And luckily, though, before we could arrive, because we live so far out in the friggin' boonies, by the time we got to her store, and by we I mean Sundown, got to her store, she had managed to get a hold of another manager who was and secure someone who was willing to come in and take her place so that she didn't have to shut the store down. So good for her on that. But yeah, Sundown went and picked her up, took her to urgent care number 2. Now, this was not the same urgent care that she went to the first time. We were like, obviously, oh, I just like shot a drill at you guys, and I'm really sorry. I hope it didn't hit you in the eye, because I know it came up like pshing. So I hope it didn't hit you in the eye. Sorry about that. So anyway, yeah, he came and picked her up and took her to urgent care number 2, which was called St. Bernard's Urgent Care. So the first one was NEA, the first medical like group with a hospital in the area. It was called NEA, and that's the one that helped her temporarily, but it wore off by morning, and then got worse. And so now we're going to urgent care number 2, which is St. Bernard's, the other option in town, associated with the other hospital in town. And they get there, and the urgent care people there are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that they, you know, that was their treatment. That was not sufficient. You did not get enough steroids. You did not get, you need antibiotics and, you know, some other stuff. You needed more meds, essentially. And then they ran a bunch of tests that they said should have been run the first time at the other urgent care, just to make sure she didn't have like flu, the vid, you know, mono, strep, all that stuff. She had developed a sore throat. She had an unquenchable thirst. Like all the things. It was getting gnarly. And they said they were confused, which drew concern, because if listen, if there are any doctors out there, you listen. If you're confused by something, please do not be so prideful that you're just like, I'm confused, but I'm just, you know, just do what I say anyway, we'll hope. No. You send your patient to someone who is less confused than you, okay? That's what you do, because this is what happened. So the doctor is like taking a look at this spreading, I mean, I don't know what to call it, a rash. I mean, it was hives, but it was also like some red irritated skin under it. Guys, I don't know how to describe it. It was hives plus. Hives with, I would say hives with benefits, but there was really no benefit to them, but just hives plus. And they were like, visually, this looks like a skin infection, but we did all your blood work and all these tests and a scrape and whatever, and it's not coming back indicating any kind of infection. But to our eyeballs, it screams infection. To the blood work and testing, it says no infection. So we're confused. We don't know really what you've got here, what's going on. And they kind of ignored the fact that she started a new medication that was injected at these 2 pinpoint locations that this was all starting from. And we're just really focused on the skin aspect, like the rashy part, if that makes sense. The hivey, red, irritated, growing, like spreading part. And not really concerned with why, just how to attack what they see. And so they gave her more, let's put you on a different steroid. Let's give you a topical cream and, you know, see how you go. And then they said, this will get you by. And then tomorrow, when doctor's office is open, call your rheumatologist. Tell them you're having an allergic reaction to the medication and that you need to be seen ASAP. But this should get you by until they can get you in. And if it gets worse, well, first they said expect the rash hive situation will grow over the next couple days. It might grow, but then it should stop and start receding and lightening up and yada yada. So give it a few days is what they left her with. Give this medicine a few days to like really get in there and get to work. In the meantime, see your rheumatologist ASAP. Have a good day, ma'am. We were not totally, I mean, we felt a little bit better that they were like, hey, the other place kind of overlooked some stuff, screwed some stuff up, but we got you on the right track. That was a little relieving, but we were still left feeling like something's not something's not right here, not 100% comfortable with the end result. You know what I'm saying? And again, you know, sometimes as a parent, it's hard to tell, am I just being an overprotective worrywart parent, or is my intuition telling me something? It's hard to know sometimes. And she's an adult, she can communicate, she can take care of herself, and so we kind of like left it, you know, she'll tell us if something's going on type of thing, right? And left it at that. Okay, we've been treated, we've been told what the next step is, and there's nothing else they can do. Off we go back home. And so she gave it a couple days like they told her to, and the red patch with the hives on her stomach breasts, it was her abdomen, but they look perfect circles. Like I said, the rashes start growing and growing. They start turning like a purple and red situation. The ring on the edge of each spot was like getting redder, and it was spreading outward. The weirdest. I know, sorry, gross guys, whatever. There was nothing gross about it. I mean, nothing like oozy woozy or anything. It was just super inflamed, irritated red with a red ring around it and hives inside. Nothing oozy or gooey or anything. Sorry if I didn't clarify that from the beginning. But, so she was like, no, I know that it's you know, but it doesn't really itch at all anymore, so that's really good. And they said it was gonna probably spread, and I have a message into my rheumatologist nurse. They're supposed to call me back. Like, I've done all the things, and I'm not, you know, the only thing that's getting worse is that the rash is kind of spreading, but it's not irritating. It's not, I feel fine. I'm just a little tired. I'm a little sluggish, but otherwise I'm feeling okay. And these spots, they feel almost like bruises now. They kind of hurt, like ache a little bit, but otherwise, you know, I'm not distressed, you guys. I'm good. Okay, honey. So she goes to work again, and she's at work, and throughout the course of the day, and this would have been on Tuesday, throughout the course of the day, she was like, I'm starting to, you know, I'm getting a little itchy. I'm a little uncomfortable. I'm hot and I'm cold. And I'm like, oh no, here we go. All over again. All the things started popping back up. And then by the time she got home, she's like, my head hurts. And, you know, my head hurts, my neck is getting stiff, I'm tired, I just need to sleep. And we were like, okay, I guess, honey. So she went to bed, and then, you know, here we come Wednesday and Thursday, same thing, no better. She's waiting for the doctor to call. Doctor's not calling. Finally, she calls yesterday, Thursday. She calls back and said, listen, I left a message. Things are getting dicey over here with me. I've been to urgent care twice. Help, you know? And they were like, oh my gosh, we never got the message. What? And they were like, you need to be seen ASAP. This is serious. Oh my gosh. Can you come in right now? And she's like, no, I'm at work. I can't come in right now. Can I come in tomorrow? And they were like, oh, tomorrow's Friday. We're closed. Can you come in Monday? And she's like, yes, I'll do Monday. And she was like, okay, probably we got that solved. So here it is. She's getting worse again, just a little bit slower this time. And she's got a like emergency follow-up with her rheumatologist on Monday, and she's off today, which is Friday, and this was Thursday. So she got home, she's very tired, very achy, almost in tears. Her neck is so stiff and hurts so bad. Her head has got a lot of pressure and hurts really bad. She does have a chronic migraine condition, so we weren't real sure, is this a migraine or something to do with what's going on? And she was like, no, this isn't one of my migraines. This is something else. And I'm like, oh no. And I said, well, what do you want to do? And she said, let me try this new medicine that they gave me, that they called in. Can you guys go pick it up? Like, okay. We go to the 24-hour pharmacy in town, the Walgreens, go to pick up her medicine, and they were like, oh yeah, we have a medication right here for her, and okay, thanks. And we pick it up, and I'm like, she said there'd be 2. There's only 1 in here. That's a little concerning, but he said there was only 1 ready, so I guess this is it. Let's go. Go all the way back home. So guys, like I said, we live in the boonies. To get into town is 20-30 minutes, depending on where in town we're going. And this was like over an hour round trip to go pick up this medication, okay? And we get home. She opens the bag, hoping for sweet, sweet relief, to find that it is a completely unrelated refill of a medication that is not at all relevant to the situation at hand. And she's like, what the F is this? I sent you guys for this new steroid they prescribed me and this topical cream, and you come back with this unrelated medication. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not the pharmacist. This is what they said they had for you. This is what I took. You know, this is what I brought home, honey. And she was like, this isn't it. And so she calls the pharmacy and she's like, you guys, I just sent my parents. We live out in the middle of nowhere. It took them an hour to come get my meds and get back. Come to find out they didn't come back with the right stuff. Like, can I get the status of this prescription that my doctor called in today? And they were like, oh, your doctor called that into the other location that closed at 6 p.m. Oh my gosh. So, and she was like, well, can you not, like, I don't know, swipe it? Can you like take it from them and fill it with you so my parents can come pick it up? And they were like, no, sorry, you have to wait until they open tomorrow and call and all these hoops. So she's like, okay, so no medicine for me? And they were like, yeah, no medicine for you. Okay. She was like, I can make it through the night. I can make it through the night, get the medicine in the morning. We're like, okay. You know, if you need us, come get us. And everybody went to bed. She woke up this morning, came and got me. The first thing I noticed about this girl's face was that she had this red lupus looking rash. If anybody's familiar with lupus or has heard of it or looked up, lupus is often associated, one of the symptoms that it's associated with is having like this butterfly shaped rash. So like red cheeks and red on the bridge of the nose, and it's almost in the shape of a butterfly on the face. And she had that if not that rash, very, very similar across her face. I took one look at her pale face, saw this bright red butterfly, like reddish purple butterfly, and I'm like, oh no. And she was like, how did you know? And I'm like, how did I know what? And she's like, what do you mean? How did you know what? How do you know? Why are you saying, oh no? And I'm like, you're going to tell me you don't feel good. And she's like, yeah, I need to show you some stuff. And I'm like, well, I can see your face. And she didn't even know about her face. She was like, what? My face? And I'm like, oh no. So she shows me her legs, her arms, her stomach, her chest, her back, the back of her neck, her face, her entire body. Granted, she didn't show me the vital bits. I didn't need to see those, and didn't expect to see those, but I did get the knowledge verbally that even the vital bits were affected by, you guessed it, this growing rash that was on just her stomach, in little stomach breast circles. Stomach had boom, just her whole body is covered in this red rash, splotchy rash. Now the good thing is at least what I thought was a good thing, is that they weren't hives. It was all flat, no raised itchy skin, but it was all red and blotchy that looked like hives, but not poofy and itchy. Okay, over her entire body. And I'm like, oh, for Pete's sake. And so she's like, I need help. I need a doctor. And I'm like, yeah, you do. Let's go. So I had been getting ready for the day because today was her day off and she wanted to go shopping for some new pants. And she had some other errands she wanted to run, and she wanted to do that with me so that we could have a mommy-daughter day, and I was down because usually that means she's going to buy me free lunch. So I'm like, yes, I'm in. I ain't going to say no. Seriously, though, I was looking forward to spending time with her, so I was already getting ready. Had a face on, had my hair did. I was mostly, you know, I was dressed. I'm not trying to say I'm walking around the house undressed, but I was in my lazy clothes still. I had not yet put on public attire, but was heading that direction. So I was nominated to be the one to take her. Sundown took her the last 2 times, and it was my turn anyway. And I'm like, well, once they get you ironed out, if you feel like it, we can still like go shopping, and if not, we can just go home. And but I'm already ready to go out the door. So I take her and we go to urgent care number 2 again. Okay. Cause none of us were pleased with urgent care number 1, and they're, you know, not helping really, only temporarily helping. I just felt better about urgent care number 2. So we went back to urgent care number 2 and said, hey, just saw you the other day. And the doctor, who was like, ah, yes, I remember. It was, you know, it was the same doctor that she had seen last time. And the doctor took one look at her, got the lowdown on what, you know, why are we back? She can see why we're back, but wanted to hear why we were back. And at that point, she was like, listen, I've done everything I can. We ran all the tests we could. We did all the blood work that we could. I don't know what's going on at this point, but it's obviously gotten worse. I'm concerned for her health. I recommend the emergency room. They said, considering the state that she's in right now, we are seriously concerned. And basically, we take an ambulance or we can take her over there. But they wanted her to go straight to the emergency room. And by this point, her whole body is covered. She does not feel good. She can't tell if she wants to, her stomach hurts. I'll just say that. Her stomach hurts and she can't tell which end the expression of that pain is going to come from. Read between the lines, my friends. If your stomach hurts, there's only one of two ways it's coming out, and she wasn't sure which side it was coming from, the front or the back. She was lightheaded. She was, you know, got the clammy, snotty stuff. And by the time we had gotten back in with, you know, into the room with the doctor, in just a short period, like rapidly, right in front of my eyes, her eyes had gone, like, the whites of her eyes were bloodshot looking, red, and inflamed looking. And I'm like, what is happening to my child? And they were like, we do not know, but the emergency room should, so get her there. Do you want an ambulance or do you want to take her? And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take my child. So they said, okay, we're going to call ahead and have a team waiting for you when you get there. So just head straight there. Okay. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm going to stop. Let me just stop for a scenic. What am I going to stop for? Anyway, we head straight to the emergency room, and we pull in, and she knows how I feel about the emergency room. She was still perfectly capable of, like, walking and talking and, you know, all the things. She just wasn't feeling hot, as in feeling good. And so she said, can you call Dad and have him come up here instead? And she was doing that because she knows that I have the hospitals give me panic attacks, and I think she could tell that I was already anxious, especially, you know, this is my baby and her health and stuff. And I was anxious enough, but then being at the hospital, It's kind of even hard for me to talk about, actually. So bear with me. Sorry. I can't help it. So being at the hospital it was starting. And I said, no, I can stay. I love you. I'm your mom. I'm going to stay with you. And she's like, no, I really, I kind of want Dad here. And I'm like, okay, well, let me walk you in. And she's like, no, you start heading home before you go full-blown panic attack so that you can make it home, and just tell Dad to be on his way. So I'm okay. So I leave. As I'm leaving, I call Sundown and I said, hey, we gotta switch it. We gotta tap out. Like, I gotta tap out and we gotta tag you in, man. Your time to shine, Dad. And he's like, all right, but I am on my way. I think he knew. He knew once he found out we were going to the emergency room, he knew that it was probably inevitable that he was going to be called, because he was ready to go. He was like, I'm ready to go, walking out the door right now. Like, all right, cool. So I made sure she got in, and they were in fact waiting for her, and they rushed her straight back. She didn't have to, sit around the waiting room or anything like that. There was a team at the door waiting for her, and I knew she was safe and in good hands, and that Sundown was on his way in, and I was on my way out. So yeah, in the beginning when I said judgment-free zone and like hear me out first, despite what anyone might think about my parenting, just please remember, A, she's an adult. B, she was in the care of the medical team at the emergency room at the hospital when I left her. C, she did want to be left. She requested that I switch out with her father, knowing that my anxiety would probably make it worse for her, in terms of her anxiety levels. And, she was not in any imminent danger. If she was in like imminent danger, I would never have left her side ever. Even at her request. So please reserve judgment. You think of me privately what you will, but I, if you disagree, that's a you thing. Okay. We did what works for our family and for us individually, and that's what she wanted. That's what she got. Okay. All right. Thank you. So, yeah. Sundown has been and is currently at the hospital with her, has been all day. They have been keeping me informed. It turns out, according to the emergency room doctors, that she was having, they're not sure if she's having an allergic reaction or an adverse reaction to this medication, Taltz, that the rheumatologist gave her. It was just a delayed adverse or allergic reaction. Not 100% sure which. They did say that emergency room number, or urgent care number 1, could have killed my daughter. They said that something to do with the steroids, the amount that they gave her, or the way they gave, whatever the case was, something to do with the steroids. They didn't give her enough to taper off. The amount they gave her came to a dead stop, and that can cause the adrenal system to go into shock, and that can be deadly, and that we're very lucky that when the steroids suddenly stopped, instead of tapering as they should have, that she did not have a serious life-threatening medical emergency at that point. So Sunday night, when Sundown and I just had an inkling, an itch, an undefinitive, we don't know why, but we feel some type of way, let's sleep on the couch type of treat our adult child like a baby situation. It was not unfounded. Maybe some part of us somewhere somehow knew that there was danger because we both felt the same way. We both felt like we need to be sleeping on the couch. We need to be in earshot. We need to be right here. We were uneasy with regards to her condition. And it turns out rightfully so, because that could have been the end of her life with their mistake that they made at urgent care number 1 on Sunday night, the first time she went into the urgent care for this. I have to let that sink in for a second, sorry. But she is okay. And honestly, subsequently, the subsequent treatments from even urgent care number 2 and the third trip back there, the fact that they didn't listen, they didn't pay attention, were not educated, I guess, enough to recognize what was or could be going on to her detriment. Could have, this entire time, basically since Sunday when she first went into urgent care, she could have gone into a medical emergency that could have cost her life at any point. Even guys, you go to urgent care and you go to the emergency room to get help, and sometimes I don't know, I've learned to expect sometimes that maybe it's a temporary band-aid until you can get into your doctor or get over to the emergency room or whatever. But I don't ever expect that what they do is going to make it worse or risk your life. In this case, they did not know what they were doing, according to the emergency room doctors. And it almost cost my daughter her life. It could have. By some stroke of luck, it did not shock her adrenal system when the steroids stopped. But that was pure luck, they said. So, currently, she is at the emergency room. Like I said, still, she's being pumped full of all kinds of stuff to help stabilize her and get her body and situation under control, because this medicine that she is having a reaction to is going to be in her body for at least a month. It's a monthly injection, time released, to help combat her psoriatic arthritis. And so a little 12-hour cocktail or 24-hour cocktail to bring down the reaction isn't going to help, because then it's just going to come back, as we saw all week, because the medication isn't leaving her system. It's still there for a whole month. It's gonna be there. So, waiting to hear exactly what they're gonna do. Last I heard from sundown, Leah was sleeping from the IV meds that they were giving her, kind of knocked her out and gave her some relief, so she was able to actually relax and get some sleep. And he was watching over her, and they were running a bunch of tests. I guess they called them the NICU swabs, which is my understanding is it's basically what they give to infants in the NICU, and it's a total comprehensive, covers anything and everything you can imagine kind of testing to make sure that if there's anything to detect in her blood, in her system, whatever's going on, it will be detected. And if it's all clear, then they are going to feel comfortable sending her home. At least that's my understanding. So, and Sundown just messaged a few minutes ago and said that the doctor's in there talking to them, or talking to him. I think Leah's still sleeping. And he was asking questions, and he said the emergency room doctor said under no circumstances if things progress. I think maybe they're getting ready to release her. They've gotten fluids in her, they got meds in her, and but he said that the doctor is informing them that under no circumstances are they to return to any urgent care. If her symptoms return, if anything gets worse, or if she even just feels a little hinky, then they want her to return to the emergency room, skip urgent care altogether. So that tells me that both urgent cares screwed up, even their own urgent care screwed up, and that her situation is precarious enough to warrant going straight to the emergency room. So now I'm left with a little bit of concern if they think that there's even a possibility that things could continue to go poorly or return to going poorly to the point where she needs to be advised, skip the urgent care, come right to emergency room. Again, we live out in the country. I don't know how many times I can say it, like way out here. It takes a really, really long time for ambulances to get here. It takes us 30 minutes. Like today, the GPS said 27 minutes from the emergency room doors to my front door. 30 minutes. A lot can happen in 30 minutes. That's the downside to country life, my friends. And boo-hoo, Mushy, you chose this. Yes, you're right. So I'm sorry for boo-hooing about it. It's just, boy, the trade-off, you know, it has its pros and cons, the country life, I tell you. This is one of the cons. This is when the cons shine, is when you need medical attention. It is not readily, easily, quickly accessible. But it sounds like that maybe they're prepping her to come home. Not sure how I feel about it. I want my baby home and doing well, of course. But at the same time, I'd almost feel better if they would just admit her. I am terrified that what happened every other time she's gone to get help in this past week will continue to happen, and we will run out of luck. That is what I'm afraid of. But if they feel confident enough to send her home, I mean, you can only do, I can throw a hissy fit, but at the end of the day, they're the doctors and they're in control, and I can't force them to do anything. I can't admit her to the hospital myself. That needs a doctor, you know. So we just have to accept the doctor's ruling, kind of like court and judges, and you got to accept the judge's ruling. I have to accept the doctor's ruling and make do. So yeah, that whole big long story, I needed to get that off my chest. I know that some of you probably, or like I said, from Facebook, are aware of what was going on, at least generally, and probably wondering, why the heck are you at home diamond painting? Well, my friends, that's kind of why. Between my health issues and current health situation and what's going on with her, I was not the right parent for the job. Not only because of the panic situation, but because of the medical situation. I was able to go out with her for a couple hours today. However, you know, 6, 7, 8 hour being away from home, being out and alert and functional and driving and things like that, not the best choice for various reasons. And like I said, I don't want to get into too much detail or too personal. Just know that that was not a safe choice. That would not have been a safe choice at the end when she was ready to come home. or if they keep her and I needed to come home for the night, that would not have been the safest thing. So we did what was best for everyone in this situation, with everyone's consent and blessing that mattered. So if you don't like the decisions we made, I don't know what to tell you. That's that, you know, write me a strongly worded email. Feel free. I promise I'll read it. I promise I'll read that. Spoiler, no I won't. Okay. There's that. So the whole point of all this was not necessarily a pity party, but it was therapeutic. I wanted to get it off my chest. At least the what's going on with my daughter thing. A lot of us diamond paint to make ourselves feel better in some way, mentally, physically, spiritually, a little bit of both. It is a distraction. Whoops. It is a distraction for me, which is helpful at keeping the panic at bay and talking to you guys and telling you guys what's going on. I wanted to provide some transparency about what's going on with the channel. Why have the videos slowed down over the last couple weeks? They've been late. They've slowed down. I am aware I owe you all a Tales from the Cur Whipped. Sorry, Dad Down came by to return some dishes, and Charlotte was greeting him. That's what the barking was. If I didn't edit it out, that's what it was. Sorry about that. But yeah, so I wanted to just address it because I know that I know it's been noticed that my social presence has been not as it usually is, and my video production has been slowed down quite a bit, and I'm missing, you know, you guys, I kind of skipped over some shorts in the past couple weeks. I missed the last Tales from the Crypt. You were supposed to get that last weekend, and I was unable to make that happen. And yeah, dropping the ball, basically. In so many words. Mushy's dropping the ball a little bit, and I wanted to explain why. Do know Make Your Own Wall Art did make a Facebook post on their page tagging me, asking me if I was all right, and I did have a lot of people reach out to me as a result of that and inquire, you know, are you okay? What is going on? So I know that it's gone noticed by quite a few of you, and so I thought I would just openly address it and tack on this little medical situation with my daughter as a little cherry on top of this unfortunate Sunday we're concocting over here. Yeah, that's it. So I hope to kind of I've been staying on top of the event and the challenges. Congratulations, good job everybody who's been doing the event and sticking it out with the challenges. I've been right there with you. I've made sure to make time to do that. And you know, because I promised you I would suffer with you, and suffer with you I am. And just wait till you see. I've been promising you guys, some of you know, some of you don't. I've kind of been hinting at it, but I've been promising you guys that some breathing room and the challenges are coming, and they're coming. Stay tuned for tomorrow's challenge. I think some of you are going to do a huge sigh of relief. Ye of little faith, who over here fussing and worrying that you're not going to get your diamond paintings done. Calm down. Calm down. Relief is coming. Relief is coming. I will post tomorrow's rule before I go to bed. It will either be late tonight or early in the AM hours, like shortly after midnight my time, Central Standard. But yes, breathing room is coming, you naysayers. You've earned it. In all seriousness, you've earned it. This next challenge, I feel, is not as much of a challenge at all as it is kind of throwing you guys a bone, in that I think you have played nice. You have, you know, risen to every challenge and done so with good spirits, and because of that, I figured it was time to cut you guys a little slack, and slack you shall have. Hopefully you enjoy the challenge. And yeah, so yeah, you guys, that's what's been going on with me over here. We did have some medical travel the last couple weeks. We had to go to St. Louis twice in 2 weeks, all-day trips. The last one was a 22-hour trip that took me out for a couple days. And so between all that going on and then coming home to this going on with Leah, I have fallen a bit behind, but I promise you I'm working hard to get the ship righted and get back on schedule with the videos that I would normally produce and when I would normally produce them. Don't give up on me. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up anything. Like, I'm not giving up on the channel. I'm not you know, backing off, staying away, anything like that. I literally, life is just kicking me in the pants right now, and I'm struggling. I'm struggling to keep this boat afloat, okay? I'm doing my best, and we'll continue to work hard to get this ship righted, and ask for your patience while I do that. I see a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to take this time to, although I've missed some videos, I think we're just going to kind of leave those in the past and move forward and hit the reset button in terms of, I missed those. I'm not going to be making those up. We're just going to start from here and go forward and get right back on the track so that we can get back to, you know, what should be coming out, when it should be coming out. And yeah, that means Tales from the Curtain. Be careful. Tales from the Crypt will be coming as scheduled again soon. Our lives are going to be coming back this weekend, actually. Saturday, Tier 3 members get their private date night live with Sundown and I. That's tomorrow, actually. And so you Tier 3 members that are watching this, I'll see you guys tomorrow in the live. Yep. And Tuesday, our public live will be back on track. So we'll see you guys Tuesday. If you haven't already, go check out the channel homepage, and under the live tab, you can see that there's 2 lives pending, and you can sign up for, you know, to be notified when those are coming up, like 10 minutes before. So if you want to attend that live, it'll send you a little notification, and you can pop a squat, get a drink, get a snack, and come hang out with us. And yeah, if you have any questions or comments, like about the content, or, you know, what's going on with the channel or anything like that, please do let me know. Otherwise, that's all I have for this time. Thank you. Thank you for letting me therapeutically vent and kind of give you some transparency and address the elephant in the room. And with that, I'm done here. Well, not really. I'm done with you. I'm done with you. I'm still going to be working on this, but I'm done with the video. And I will see you in the next one. Stay naughty.